please be careful. I remind to you that all of this it's just for educational purposes. Please don't try this at home. The question that today we are looking in is if we can engineer domesticated cat boys. Board moment. We can see Hegel that has been yassified from the previous streaming. 1952. The Russian fox domesticated experiment. What is this? What are we talking about? You know that foxes are feral animals that actually live in the wild and are not automatically domesticated or have not been domesticated in the past by the human race, the human species. What do we know about this experiment? Dmitry Belyaev, more than 70 years ago, took all of the foxes that he could find, he put them inside of a warehouse and selected the ones that had less aggressive temperaments towards everyone. Generation after generation after generation of foxes, okay, you are actually having some results. Dmitry took the fox that before the
sexual maturity
experiment, like give me your fuckass paw and shit like that, or at least that's how I imagine I would interact with a fox that is going to be domesticated. Then he selected the specimen, so he selected the foxes that were more able to interact with humans, bred only those ones between themselves, creating this kind of gene, this kind of automatical survival instinct. The foxes were selected due to their behavior. This can also happen with humans because we know that the human that was more suspicious and careful in the wild in the course of evolution is the one that survived more easily. And so that's basically what we are talking about, the transmission of a behavior from generation to generation to generation. So this is the starting point. Of course, I was listening to some kind of shit-ass podcast regarding this experiment, and my brain, of course, the first thing that thought was, can we apply this to cat boys? Yeah, I have no justification. The second experiment that we are going to consider instead, the following. On the starting of 2025, what happened is that there was a genetic engineering experiment that produced a mouse. Beccati stamina, porco. There was a second experiment, which was the genetic engineering experiment that produces a mouse from two males. How? There are two ways, guys, which I will explain in Eleonora's term. First of all, the little introduction. So there is a thing that is called
mating.
Man and a woman that really loves each other. They mix their things, their liquids, and the liquid of the male arrives to the egg of the woman, and they together create the life which stays inside of the woman for 9 months. Now, gestation period is different, of course, in two mouses because it's less, it should be around 30 days if I am not mistaken. But what happened? How do you do this? You take an egg, remove the liquids, the genetic material, the DNA of the woman, and you put instead inside the genetic material of two males. Then you also have to fulfill this egg with an amount of proteins and shit that will then help anyway the egg develop the thing inside. There is also another way to create a mouse from two male mouse, and this way is just to take stem cells and convert it in an egg that will be then fulfilled, or better, will be filled with the genetic material of the male rat and the other male rat. How can we apply this to cat boys? So, we can create the perfect domesticated cat boy, but is it ethical to create the perfect domesticated cat boy? Of course not, because it would require human breeding, and it would require also to modify shit that currently is not possible to modify due to the laws that we have, etc, etc, etc. But in case it was ethical, would we do that? I have a cat. Am I a cat boy? No, Domenico. What is a cat boy? A cat boy is a very submissive guy which looks like a twink and has cat ears. It's illegal to breed people for a purpose. They have to be adults and consent. Exactly. Yeah, they have to be adults and consent. So you do the first thing with the first cat boy, which will be legal because he will be adult and consensual. But later on, he does the kids, and the kids will not be in the conditions to be. Okay, you are right, J-Dog. You win this time. It's true. Simple, just don't recognize cat boys as people, but as modified cat. Julian's Bappo, in that case, there will be some zoophilia going on. What cat breed should be used? Technically, in my opinion, if you breed enough amount of cat boys or of twinks in general, you can wait until they develop the genetic mutation of the ears that are like the cat's ears. You can maybe put them in the same environment in which cats were before in the start of the times, so that they can develop more easily the feature, and it's not necessary to use actual cats to do that, in my opinion. Can you crossbreed cat boys with dog boys, Julian? You can, I don't know, because it must be verified the fact that they will be fertile one to another, but you cannot verify that if you don't try it. So, but still, do not do that because it's illegal. Are Italian cat boys more spicy? Just regular guy? No. Italy has the best fanboys, cat boys? No. Actually, we have the opportunity to create the perfect domesticated cat boy, which you should not do, by the way, because it's illegal. You cannot modify human embryos, blah blah blah. Not in all countries, but please don't do that. You can adopt a little boy and raise him to be a cat for no, that's grooming. That's bad. I dissociate from this comment. I am not.
I was thinking of fucking every woman I meet. I meet a woman, whoever, in the bank, a stranger. I see a woman on the bus. I think, what would she look like naked? Fuck her. You know, this is crazy.
I am not Woody Allen.